The bridge of the Imperial flagship Eternal Glory was silent except for the soft beeping of control panels. Commander Hack stood with his hands behind his back, watching the main screen with narrow eyes. For 10,000 years, the Galactic Imperium had ruled the stars. No one questioned their power. No one dared. "High Commander, we have detected unusual energy readings from Sector 7B, said Officer Day, his voice formal and stiff. "The patterns do not match any known species in our database." Commander Hack nodded slowly. "Prepare the diplomatic fleet. I will inform High Admiral Talk." Within hours, 50 warships moved through space like giant metal birds. Each one was covered in the golden symbols of the Imperium. Each one carried enough weapons to destroy a small moon. The Imperium always made a strong first impression. Commander Hack knelt before the hologram of High Admiral Talk. "We approach the unknown vessels, my Admiral." "Remember the protocol, Commander," said High Admiral Talk. His voice was cold. "First, we show our strength. Then, we offer them the choice: join us or be destroyed. The Emperor expects new territories." "It will be done," said Commander Hack, keeping his eyes down as the hologram disappeared. ****. Captain June of the Earth Alliance ship Dauntless was drinking coffee when the alarm sounded. "Captain," called Officer Eon from her station. 50 large vessels just appeared at the edge of our scanning range. They're moving toward us in formation." June didn't look worried. He took another sip of his coffee. "Interesting. Are they sending any messages?" "No, sir. But they're putting out a lot of energy. I think they're trying to look impressive." June laughed. "Well, that's one way to say hello. Send a standard greeting in all formats. Let's see who our new friends are." The crew of the Dauntless worked calmly. No one seemed afraid. Engineer Song was actually smiling as she looked at her screen. "Captain, I'm getting readings on their technology," she said. "Their ships use fusion drives and particle weapons." "That's it?" asked June, raising an eyebrow. "Yes, sir. Nothing we haven't seen before. Actually, their tech looks about 300 years behind ours." June nodded. "All right. Let's be friendly anyway. They're probably just cautious." ****. Commander Hack felt confused. The human ships were small, just 3 vessels against their 50. Yet they made no move to run away. The humans had responded to their approach with a simple message: "Greetings from Earth. We come in peace and friendship. No fear. No proper respect." "Sir," said Officer Day, "their ships have minimal weapons. But our scans cannot penetrate their hull. Some kind of technology we don't understand." Commander Hack frowned. This was not following protocol. The lesser species was supposed to be afraid. "Open communications," he ordered. The main screen lit up, showing the human in a simple blue uniform. The human was smiling. "This is Captain June of the Earth Alliance. Welcome to our corner of space." Commander Hack stood taller, his voice formal. "I am Commander Hack of the Galactic Imperium, rulers of 1,000 star systems and conquerors of the void. You stand before the greatest power in the galaxy." Captain June's smile didn't fade. "Nice to meet you, Commander. Would you like to discuss cultural exchange? We're always happy to make new friends." "Friends?" Commander Hack almost choked on the word. Didn't these humans understand? They were supposed to beg for mercy, not offer friendship. "You will send representatives to our flagship immediately," Commander Hack said. "We will discuss the terms of your surrender." There was a pause. The human captain looked at someone off-screen, then back at Commander Hack. "Sure, we can visit, but there's nothing to surrender. We're just explorers." As the communication ended, Commander Hack felt uneasy. Something was wrong. These humans should be afraid. Why weren't they afraid? What he didn't know was that Earth's ships had already scanned the Imperium fleet completely. The humans knew exactly what they were facing, and they weren't impressed at all. The shuttle from the Dauntless approached the massive Imperial flagship. Inside, Captain Jun adjusted his standard blue uniform. With him were Chief Engineer Song and Communications Officer Eun. All three looked relaxed. "Remember," said Captain Jun, "these people seem very formal. Try not to laugh too much." Engineer Song nodded, but her eyes were bright with excitement. "Their ship design is fascinating. I can't wait to see their engine room." "Focus on the meeting first," Jun reminded her with a smile. "We're here to make friends." The shuttle landed in a huge docking bay filled with Imperial soldiers in perfect formation. Each soldier wore shining armor and stood completely still. It was like landing in the middle of a statue garden. As the humans stepped out, a tall Imperial officer approached. "I am Second Commander Min. You will follow me to the Great Hall." No handshake, no welcome, just an order. The humans followed Min through long hallways decorated with golden symbols and giant paintings of Imperial battles. Everything was clean, perfect, and cold. "Interesting art," said Officer Yun, trying to be friendly. "Your people must be proud of their history." Second Commander Min did not look back. "The Imperium's glory is not for discussion. Keep moving." Yun raised her eyebrows at Jun, who just shrugged. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The Great Hall was enormous. The ceiling was so high it disappeared in shadow. At the far end sat Commander Hack on a raised platform. Beside him stood several Imperial officers, all with serious faces. "Approach and kneel," ordered Second Commander Min. Captain Jun walked forward but did not kneel. Engineer Song was too busy looking at the technology around the room to notice the command. Officer Yun smiled politely and stayed standing. Commander Hack's face grew dark with anger. "You will show proper respect. Where I come from, people stand when they meet as equals," said Captain Jun calmly. "We respect your customs, but we have our own." There was a shocked silence in the hall. Imperial officers whispered to each other. No one had ever defied protocol before. Commander Hack stood up. "You are not equals. The Imperium rules the stars. For 10,000 years, we have conquered all who stand before us." "Congratulations," said Captain Jun. "Earth is only 500 years into space travel. You've got a head start on us." Engineer Song was now scanning the room with a small device. "Captain, their power systems are using crystal amplification. We stopped using that 3 centuries ago." "Interesting choice." Commander Hack's face turned red. "Silence. You will not speak unless spoken to." He took a deep breath, trying to follow protocol. "Humans, you have 2 choices. Submit to the Imperium as a servant race, or face complete destruction. Your planet will become Imperial territory either way." There was a moment of silence. Then Captain Jun started to smile. Engineer Song covered her mouth. Officer Yun bit her lip. And then all 3 humans burst into laughter. The Imperial officers froze in shock. No one laughed at the Imperium. No one. "I'm sorry," said Captain Jun, trying to control himself. "But did you just threaten Earth with destruction? That's just... wow. Can I take a picture of this moment?" asked Engineer Song, still laughing. "My team back home won't believe it." Commander Hack stood up, his hands shaking with rage. "You dare mock the Imperium? Your primitive ships would be dust in seconds if we unleashed our weapon systems." Officer Yun finally stopped laughing. "Commander, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Our scans show your weapons are, well, not a threat to our ships." "We appreciate the formal welcome," added Captain Jun, becoming serious. "But threats aren't necessary. We'd prefer to discuss peaceful exchange of knowledge and culture." "Impossible," shouted Commander Hack. "No race has ever resisted the Imperium. You will see our power, and then you will understand fear." As the commander stormed out, the humans exchanged looks. "That could have gone better," said Captain Jun. "At least it wasn't boring," replied Engineer Song with a shrug. What the humans knew, and the Imperium didn't, was that Earth ships had already analyzed every aspect of Imperial technology. The Empire's greatest weapons were centuries behind what humans now considered basic defense systems. The misunderstanding was about to get much worse. Commander Hack stood on the bridge of the Eternal Glory, his face still red with anger. Never in his long career had anyone laughed at the Imperium. These humans needed to learn respect. "Prepare the Moonbreaker," he ordered. "Target the small moon in the 4th orbit." Officer Da looked surprised. "The Moonbreaker? Sir, that weapon is only used for—" "I know what it's used for," snapped Commander Hack. "These humans must see our power. Send a message to their ship. Tell them to watch carefully. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk." Back on the Dauntless, Captain Jun received the message. He read it and sighed. "They want us to watch a weapons demonstration," he told his crew. "They're targeting the small moon." Engineer Song looked up from her work. "The uninhabited one. What are they going to do to it?" "I guess we'll find out," said Captain Jun. "All screens on. Let's see what they're so proud of." The main screen showed the Imperial flagship turning toward the small gray moon. A large panel opened on the front of the ship, revealing a massive cannon. "Energy readings are increasing," reported Officer Yun. "They're charging some kind of plasma weapon." Captain Jun nodded calmly. "Open a channel to Earth Command. They should see this too." Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. On the Imperial flagship, Commander Hack watched with satisfaction as the Moonbreaker charged. The weapon was the pride of the Imperium, capable of destroying a small moon with one shot. Now these disrespectful humans would understand who they were dealing with. "Weapon at full power, Commander," reported Officer Da. "Fire," ordered Commander Hack. The Moonbreaker released a blinding beam of energy. It crossed the space in seconds and hit the small moon. There was a flash of light so bright that the viewing screens had to dim. The moon's surface exploded, sending rock and dust into space. When the light faded, a quarter of the moon was gone, leaving a smoking crater. Commander Hack smiled. "Now, connect me to the human ship." Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. On the Dauntless, the crew watched the demonstration with interest but not fear. Captain Jun was already talking to Earth Command. "Yes, Admiral. It appears to be a fusion-catalyzed reaction weapon. Early 22nd century technology at best. No, not a threat to our shields." The screen changed to show Commander Hack's face. He looked proud and expected to see fear in the human's eyes. "Now you understand the power of the Imperium," he said. "That was just one of our smaller weapons." Captain Jun nodded politely. "Impressive light show, Commander. Thank you for the demonstration." Commander Hack frowned. The humans still didn't look afraid. Engineer Song actually looked disappointed. "That's it?" she asked, forgetting to be polite. "I was expecting something more advanced." Officer Yun quickly jumped in. "What Engineer Song means is that we appreciate you sharing your technology with us." Commander Hack's eyes narrowed. "You are not impressed by a weapon that can destroy a moon." Captain Jun chose his words carefully. "Different cultures develop different technologies, Commander. We stopped using destructive mining centuries ago. Too wasteful." "Mining?" repeated Commander Hack, confused. "The Moonbreaker is not a mining tool. It is the most powerful weapon in this sector." Captain Jun looked at Earth Command on another screen. After a moment, he nodded. "Commander Hack, my government has authorized me to offer a small demonstration of our own capabilities. With your permission, we would like to show you how we work with celestial bodies." Commander Hack laughed now. "Your tiny ships. What could they possibly do?" "If you're willing to watch, we'll show you," said Captain Jun. "Please observe the second moon." As Commander Hack watched with a smug smile, the Dauntless launched what looked like a small probe toward another uninhabited moon. The Imperial officers on the bridge laughed among themselves. They had no idea what they were about to witness. The small probe from the Dauntless moved slowly toward the second moon. Commander Hack and his officers watched with smirks on their faces. The probe was tiny compared to the massive Imperial ships. This is their demonstration. Officer Da whispered. It's smaller than our waste disposal units. Commander Hack nodded. Let them have their moment. Then they will understand their place. On the main screen, Captain June appeared again. Commander, you might want to have your crew adjust your sensors. What you're about to see can be confusing if you're not ready for it. Our sensors are the finest in the galaxy, replied Commander Hack proudly. Nothing confuses Imperial technology. Captain June just smiled. If you say so. Our demonstration begins now. The small probe reached the moon and stopped. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then a soft blue light began to glow around it. What is it doing? Asked Officer Day, checking his readings. Energy levels are strange. The blue light spread, forming a perfect sphere around the entire moon. The sphere grew brighter, and then something impossible happened. The moon began to fade away. Not explode, not break apart. It simply became transparent, like it was disappearing from reality itself. What is happening? Shouted Commander Hack. Where did it go? Officer Da hit controls frantically. Sir, the moon is. It's not in normal space anymore. It's just gone. For 30 seconds, the moon remained completely invisible. The Imperial officers stared in shock. Then the blue sphere reappeared, growing brighter again. Slowly, the moon faded back into view, but something was different. Sir, said Officer Da in a shaking voice. The moon. It's spinning backward now. He was right. The moon had returned, perfectly intact, but its rotation had completely reversed. Commander Hack's mouth fell open. No weapon he knew could do this. No technology in the Imperium could make an entire moon disappear and return changed. The screen lit up again with Captain June's face. Demonstration complete, Commander. Any questions? Commander Hack struggled to find words. What? How did you? What did you do to the moon? Engineer Song appeared beside Captain June. Simple dimensional folding, she explained, as if talking about the weather. We shifted the moon temporarily into subspace, reversed its rotation vectors, and returned it to normal space. Basic mining preparation. Mining? Preparation, repeated Commander Hack weakly. Yes, said Engineer Song. Breaking things apart is wasteful. We fold space to access minerals without damaging the overall structure. That way the moon remains stable for future use. But the energy required for such a thing. Commander Hack began. Oh, very little, said Engineer Song with a smile. Less than your ship uses for lighting. Our dimensional tech is quite efficient. The bridge of the Imperial flagship was completely silent. Every officer stared at the screens in disbelief. I think we should talk again, said Captain June gently. Perhaps with less focus on weapons and more on cultural exchange. We'd be happy to share some of our basic technology, if it would help your people. Commander Hack couldn't speak. Help the Imperium. Share technology. These humans weren't primitive at all. They were far, far beyond anything the Imperium had ever encountered. I will discuss this with High Admiral Talk, he finally managed to say. As the communication ended, Commander Hack sank into his chair. The Imperium had always been the most powerful force in known space. They had never met anyone more advanced. Until now. Sir, said Officer Dai quietly. What do we do? Commander Hack stared at the moon that had been completely transformed without a single explosion. I don't know, he admitted for the first time in his long career. I truly don't know. Junior Officer Jay stood at his post on the lower deck of the Imperial flagship. Unlike the other officers, he couldn't see what had happened to the moon. But he could hear the whispers spreading through the ship. They made the moon disappear. Not just disappear, they brought it back spinning backward. How is that possible? Jai had always been different from other Imperial officers. Where they saw only the glory of conquest, he sometimes wondered if there were better ways. This curiosity had nearly cost him his career many times. But now he burned with questions about these humans. When his shift ended, Jai went to the data room. He wasn't supposed to access records without permission, but he needed to know more. "Show me all information on the human meeting," he whispered to the computer. The screen lit up with images of Captain Jun, Engineer Song, and Officer Yun. Ji watched their calm faces as Commander Hack threatened them. He saw their laughter at the Imperial ultimatum. Most interesting of all, he saw Engineer Song studying Imperial technology with knowing eyes. These humans understood something the Imperium did not. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. On his private command deck, Commander Hack knelt before the hologram of High Admiral Tak. His voice was low and worried. "They have technology far beyond ours, Admiral. They moved an entire moon in and out of reality without damaging it." High Admiral Tak's face showed no emotion. "Impossible. No species has technology greater than the Imperium. You were tricked by an illusion. I ran every sensor check, Admiral. It was real. They call it dimensional folding. They use it for mining." High Admiral Tak's eyes narrowed. "Mining? With technology that powerful?" He was silent for a moment. "If what you say is true, we must have this technology. The Emperor would reward us greatly." "Admiral, I don't think they will give it to us by force. Their power is—" "Enough," snapped High Admiral Tak. "Your fear embarrasses the Imperium. I am sending the main battle fleet. We will take what we want from these humans, as we always have from lesser worlds." Commander Hack wanted to argue but knew better. "Yes, Admiral." As the hologram disappeared, Commander Hack felt something new. Doubt. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. On the Dauntless, Communications Officer Yun was surprised to receive a private message from the Imperial flagship. It wasn't from Commander Hack, but from someone named Junior Officer G. "What does it say?" asked Captain Jun when she reported it. Yun read the message. "I wish to learn more about Earth. Your ways are different. May we speak?" Captain Jun thought for a moment. "Interesting. They're not all the same then. Reply and see what he wants. But be careful." Officer Yun sent a friendly response, and soon she was talking with Junior Officer G through a secure channel. His questions were eager and honest. "Is it true your people don't conquer other worlds?" G asked. "Of course not," replied Yun. "We explore and learn. Why destroy what you can understand? And your leaders don't force people to obey." "We choose our leaders," explained Yun. "If they don't serve the people well, we choose new ones." Ji's eyes widened. "You can replace leaders without fighting." Their conversation continued for hours. Ji learned about Earth's history, how humans had once fought each other, but grew beyond war. Yun learned about the Imperium's rigid system, where questioning authority was forbidden. What neither of them knew was that their conversation was being recorded by Imperial security. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. High Admiral Tak watched the stars from the bridge of the massive dreadnought Emperor's Fist. Behind him, 1,000 warships prepared for battle, the main battle fleet of the Imperium. "Set course for the human ships," he ordered. "We will show them the true meaning of power." The fleet moved through space like a metal storm. High Admiral Tak was confident. No one defied the Imperium and lived. These humans would learn their place. He did not know that humans had been monitoring Imperial communications since first contact. Captain Jun already knew the fleet was coming, and he was still not worried at all. The sky filled with Imperial warships. 1,000 metal giants moved into position around the three small human vessels. The biggest Imperial ship, Emperor's Fist, was in the center. It was 20 times larger than the Dauntless. On the bridge of the Emperor's Fist, High Admiral Tak stood tall and proud. His white uniform shined with medals. His cold eyes watched the human ships on the main screen. "Open communication with the human leader," he ordered. Captain Jun's face appeared on the screen. He looked calm, almost bored. "This is High Admiral Tak of the Imperial Battle Fleet. You faced the greatest military force in the galaxy." Captain Jun nodded politely. "Hello, Admiral. I'm Captain Jun of Earth. That's quite a lot of ships you've brought. High Admiral Tak frowned. The human should be begging for mercy by now. Your technology will belong to the Imperium, he declared. Surrender your ships and data immediately, or we will destroy you. Captain Jun sighed. Admiral, we've analyzed your power systems. They're interesting from a historical perspective, but they have a serious problem. Problem? High Admiral Tak laughed. There are no problems with Imperial technology. Actually, they're vulnerable to quantum field disruption, explained Captain Jun. To avoid unnecessary loss of life, we're implementing a temporary shutdown. Your life support and basic functions will remain operational. High Admiral Tak's laugh stopped. What nonsense is this? You cannot. Suddenly, every light on the Emperor's fist flickered. Warning alarms sounded across the bridge. Officer screens went dark. Report, shouted High Admiral Tak. Sir, weapon systems are offline, called one officer. Engines not responding, yelled another. Communications with the fleet are down. All around the Emperor's fist, the same thing was happening to every Imperial ship. One by one, they went dark. Engines died. Weapons powered down. Only life support and basic systems stayed on. 1,000 warships dead in space, and the humans hadn't fired a single shot. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. On the dauntless, Engineer Song watched her screen with satisfaction. Quantum field successfully deployed, she reported. Their systems are contained. No damage to their ships, just as you ordered. Captain Jun nodded. Open a channel to the Admiral's ship. High Admiral Tak's face appeared again on screen. His perfect uniform was now messy. His face was red with anger and fear. What have you done to my fleet? He demanded. Exactly what I said we would do, replied Captain Jun calmly. We created a quantum field that disrupts specific energy patterns. Your weapons and engines use those patterns, so they're temporarily offline. This is impossible, shouted High Admiral Tak. No weapon can disable an entire fleet without firing. It's not a weapon, explained Engineer Song. It's a safety system. We use it in mining operations to prevent accidents. High Admiral Tak stared in disbelief. These humans used as a safety tool something powerful enough to disable the greatest fleet in the galaxy. What do you want? He finally asked, his voice quieter now. Will you destroy us? Captain Jun looked surprised at the question. Destroy you? Of course not. We don't destroy sentient beings. That would be barbaric. Then, what will you do with us? We'd like to invite you and your senior staff to Earth for proper diplomatic discussions, said Captain Jun. Your ships will remain here, unharmed. The quantum field will dissolve in about 3 days, by which time we hope to have a friendship agreement in place. High Admiral Tak couldn't believe what he was hearing. The humans had the entire Imperial fleet helpless, and they wanted to be friends. This is not how war works, he said weakly. Captain Jun smiled. We're not at war, Admiral. This is just a cultural misunderstanding that got out of hand. Now, would you prefer tea or coffee when you arrive? We like to be good hosts. Around the human ships, 1,000 Imperial warships floated powerless. The greatest battle fleet in Imperial history had been defeated without a single explosion or death. And the humans were offering tea. The human ship carrying High Admiral Tak and his senior staff moved quickly through space. Commander Hack sat quietly, watching the stars blur past the window. They were traveling much faster than any Imperial ship could go. How is this possible? He asked Junior Officer G, who sat beside him. There is no engine sound, no vibration. Jai had been talking with Officer Yun during the journey. They don't use engines like ours. They'd fold space around the ship. High Admiral Tak, sitting at the front, turned with angry eyes. Be silent. Do not speak with the humans about Imperial matters. But G did not look down as he once would have. Admiral, we should learn from them. They have much to teach us. Several other young Imperial officers nodded in agreement. During the trip, many had been talking with the humans, asking questions, learning new ideas. Officer Yun smiled at Jay. We're almost there. You'll see Earth soon. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. When Earth appeared in the viewing window, the Imperial officers fell silent. They had expected a military world, harsh and cold like their own capital. Instead, they saw a beautiful blue planet with green lands and white clouds. It's so colorful, whispered Commander Hack. We work with nature, not against it, explained Captain June. Our cities blend with forests and oceans. As they flew closer, they could see giant silver towers rising among trees. Clear domes covered some cities. Small ships moved smoothly between buildings. Where are your weapon platforms? Asked High Admiral Tak. Your defense systems. We don't need visible weapons, said Captain June. Our planet is very safe. The ship landed in a large garden. When the doors opened, fresh air filled with flower scents entered the ship. Birds sang in nearby trees. This is a military base, asked Commander Hack in confusion. No, this is our welcome center, said Captain June. We thought it would be more pleasant than a cold landing pad. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Inside a glass building, the Earth Leadership Council waited to meet the Imperial visitors. 5 men and women sat at a round table. They wore simple clothes with no medals or fancy decorations. Welcome to Earth, said the head counselor, an older woman with kind eyes. We are happy to finally meet the Imperium officially. High Admiral Tak frowned. Finally, you knew about us before. The head counselor nodded. We've been aware of the Imperium for about 20 Earth years. We've been studying your civilization. Impossible, said High Admiral Tak. Our sensors would have detected your ships. Not our observer vessels, said Engineer Song. They use different technology. High Admiral Tak's face went pale. You've been watching us. Why didn't you contact us? The head counselor smiled gently. We have a policy of not interfering with developing civilizations until they reach certain technological or philosophical milestones. We were waiting for the right time. Developing? Repeated Commander Hack. The Imperium is 10,000 years old. We rule 1,000 star systems. Age and size don't always equal development, explained Captain June. We were hoping the Imperium would grow beyond conquest on its own. The Imperial officers looked at each other in shock. All their lives, they had believed the Imperium was the highest power in the galaxy. Now they learned that humans have been watching them like scientists studying simple creatures. Why show yourselves now? Asked Commander Hack. Your expansion was reaching worlds under our protection, said the head counselor. We needed to introduce ourselves before misunderstandings led to tragedy. Junior Officer Jay stepped forward, surprising everyone. What happens now? Will you conquer the Imperium? The Earth leaders laughed softly. Conquer, said the head counselor. No, young officer. That's not our way. We're offering membership in the Galactic Cooperation. Many species work together, learn from each other. We think the Imperium people would benefit from joining. High Admiral Tak stared out the window at the peaceful Earth city. Everything he believed about power and strength was being challenged. And if we refuse? He asked quietly. Then we continue as neighbors, said Captain June. But there are benefits to friendship that conquests never provide. For the first time in his life, High Admiral Tak had no answer. 3 days later, High Admiral Tak stood on the Earth observation deck. He held a small crystal in his hand. The peace treaty between Earth and the Imperium. The Admiral's face was tired. His perfect uniform didn't seem to matter anymore. Do you think the Emperor will accept this? Asked Commander Hack, standing beside him. He must, said High Admiral Tak. We have no choice. The treaty was simple. The Imperium would stop conquering new worlds. Earth would share some basic technology to help Imperial citizens live better lives. And young Imperial officers could study on Earth if they wished. Behind them, Junior Officer G was talking excitedly with Engineer Song and Officer Eun. They were planning a cultural exchange program. Many young Imperial officers had already asked to join. "I still don't understand," said High Admiral Tak quietly. "You could have destroyed our fleet, taken our worlds. Why offer friendship instead?" Captain Jun, now wearing an admiral's uniform after a recent promotion, joined them at the window. "Because that's not who we are," he explained. "Conquest only creates enemies. Friends are much more valuable than conquered subjects." High Admiral Tak shook his head. "The Emperor won't see it that way. He believes strength comes from fear." "Then maybe it's time for the Imperium to learn a different kind of strength," said Admiral Jun. ******. When the Imperial officers returned to their fleet, they found their ships working again, just as the humans had promised. The quantum field had disappeared after 3 days. Not one ship was damaged. High Admiral Tak gave the order to return to Imperial space. As his ship turned away from Earth, he wondered what he would tell the Emperor. The truth was dangerous. If the Imperial people learned that a more powerful, more advanced civilization existed, one that didn't need conquest to be strong, they might question everything. And questions were dangerous in the Imperium. ****. 6 months later, Commander Hack's ship returned to Earth space. This time, he came as an official ambassador. With him was Junior Officer G, now promoted to Cultural Exchange Director. Admiral Jun welcomed them warmly. "How did the Emperor take the news?" Commander Hack's face was serious. "He signed the treaty, but only because he fears your technology. He's told the people that the Imperium chose to be merciful to Earth." Admiral Jun smiled. "As long as the peace holds, the story doesn't matter." "But it does," said Director Jie. "Many young officers know the truth now. They're asking questions, wondering why we conquered when we could cooperate instead." The 3 men walked through an earth garden. Flowers bloomed around them. Birds sang in the trees. "Change will come slowly," said Admiral Jun. "But it will come." Commander Hack stopped walking. "There's something I need to ask. In our last meeting, you said humans weren't even the most advanced species you've met. Was that true?" Admiral Jun nodded. "The Arcturians found us about 100 years ago. Their technology makes ours look like stone tools." "And what did they do when they found you?" asked Commander Hack. "They laughed," said Admiral Jun with a smile. "Just like we laughed when we met you." "I don't understand," said Commander Hack. "You thought we were laughing at your weapons," explained Admiral Jun. "But we were actually laughing at ourselves. We reacted the same way when we met the Arcturians. Everyone's primitive to somebody. The question is whether you choose to learn or fight when you discover you're not at the top anymore." Director G looked up at the blue Earth sky. Somewhere beyond those clouds were countless worlds and civilizations. The Imperium had thought itself master of all it surveyed, but it was just one small part of a much bigger universe. "I choose to learn," said G quietly. As the sun set over Earth, the former enemies watched it together in peaceful silence. The journey ahead would be long, but it had begun with laughter instead of war. And that made all the difference.